Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Oral Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Love K. Sean. Today's topic is being Black in America, and I'm going to allow my two special guests to introduce themselves. But first, I want to give a disclaimer. I just want to state that this episode is not to bash any other race. It's just to highlight and express what our truths are in America, our anxieties, our struggles, the beautifulness that comes with being Black, basically the good, the bad, the ugly. So in no way are we trying to make it appear that we don't like other races, we have biases against them. We're just simply telling our truths. So I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Me first? Okay,
Yes.
I'm Star. I'm also a podcast host, according to Star Podcast, also a natural hairstylist and makeup artist in the Valley. I also host Black Business Brunches as well once a month. And I am happy to be here on the Oral Therapy Podcast.
Thank you for being here.
And hi, my name is Flea Trello. I'm a clothing brand designer, I'm a rapper, songwriter, just an all-around businessman. And definitely my pleasure to be on the Oral Therapy Podcast for sure.
Thank you, guys. So, in starting off, I definitely want to kind of ease into some things. But I just wanted to basically start by saying, what is your Being Black in America story, or what's your Being Black in America truth? So just a brief synopsis of like you and your history, your Black history, your being in America, or being in general as a human. So either one of you can start.
I can start. My experience is I feel like being Black in America, I need to be 10 times better than our counterparts.
Yeah.
And let me not say counterparts because that means that they complete us, sort of, that they're adjacent to us. And I feel like we are much superior. But for some reason, we have to try 10 times harder.
Yeah. I can definitely feel where you're coming from.
I definitely get that. I feel like being Black in America right now, it's like it's a beautiful thing because we basically set the tone for everything. You know what I mean? Everyone goes off of what we do and how we say it. And, you know,
Yeah.
I think being Black in America is a great thing. We're being able to leave a footprint right now that everybody can see. Like,
Yeah.
it's being more so like we're basically able to go into like the Black future instead of the Black history part of it. So I feel like our generation is the generation that's setting that tone.
Exactly. I think representation plays a big role, and I think since in the last couple of years it's been made apparent that's important. So I think, yeah, like you said, pretty soon we'll be celebrating Black future instead of the Black history. But I think Black history is important because my Being Black in America story is that struggle, like you said, that fight to work, 20 times harder than any other race, putting in so much more effort because as a Black woman, a Black person, you have to put that much energy into it because if you do equal to, like you said, the counterparts, it's not perceived the same. You have to kind of go above and beyond to even be recognized. But that's my truth. The next story is like, in celebration of Black History Month, I wanted to do this podcast, but I just also want to talk about how you guys feel celebrated, or do you feel celebrated? That question in general, like, do you feel celebrated as a Black person? I mean, I know we got a month for 28 days, 29 on every other year or whatever, but do you feel celebrated? Do you really feel genuinely celebrated?
I would say I still feel like we're tolerated and not really celebrated. I think we celebrate us more, but I feel like we're tolerated elsewhere. It's like they're pushing representation now because the fight, the Black Lives Matter, like we're getting out there, we're getting like physical now. We're sick of this. So I feel like now all of a sudden we're seeing all types of representation in commercials. It's like you don't see a commercial without Black people now with natural hair. And it's like,
they're trying. They're definitely trying. What about you?
Yeah, same. Just to kind of piggyback off that, like I think that we're not necessarily celebrated but tolerated, and it's like right now it's an agenda because of the Black Lives Matter movement. But I feel like it's slowly getting there. Like they don't have no choice but to recognize us and celebrate us at this point.
Yeah. Do you think that we in some way also have become a marketing / propaganda ploy though? Like, because Like, is it genuine, basically?
No.
Do you feel like it's genuine?
I do not.
No?
I feel like we had to go beat down the door, like actually beat down the door.
Yeah.
Not rush the White House, but...
and we ain't gonna talk about it. We ain't gonna talk about it.
But like, we really have to like beat down the door for them to like, all right, here you go. We're gonna put all these black TV shows on these networks, and we're gonna put all these, you know, these black kids on the commercials and show all these women with natural hair and start celebrating dark skinned women now. And yeah.
Okay. Why do you guys think that there's this unspoken anxiety? And I'm gonna just elaborate. Like, me as a black woman going into a store, I get anxiety. Like, it's just like certain stores know if I feel familiar. And that's why I think I'm so much more friendly, like, to my local stores. Like, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Because I want them to not treat me like a thief or, you know, I have this unspoken anxiety going to certain places or being in certain environments. Like, I went to Maple and Ash, and, you know, just like Ply said, I don't know if you guys seen that Ply's post where Ply's was like, you know, why are black people always asked what's the occasion? Why can't we just be there to celebrate? Like, he said, balling is a motherfucking occasion. So start telling them balling is the occasion. Like, so I did that. I had Maple and Ash put that on their, you know, they do the happy fucking birthday. I just put balling is a motherfucking occasion. And just to tell the story, because it's true. Like, going into that building, I felt like, I don't know, like, I knew somebody was going to ask me what's the occasion, and they did. And so that was my poster. Balling is the motherfucking occasion. You know, this is what you need to know. Like, we don't have to have a reason behind it. It's not our anniversary. We just want to go spend good money, being a good environment. But why do you think we have this unspoken anxiety with going places? Because I still get followed. I don't care how I'm dressed, what car I drive, what job I do. I get followed in certain areas, in certain places by store workers, by white people, basically, that like I'm a thief. So why do you think that is?
It's them, not us. They look at us and see us as less than for some reason, and they don't know what's in your pockets. I can go in the store in sweatpants and a raggedy t-shirt. I could just be running in. Like, you don't know my life, you don't know my bank account, so you should treat me like you would treat anyone else that comes in here, because you don't know who I am. Exactly. I could be your meal ticket, like that TV show where the boss comes in, like the CEO of the company comes in, and he like acts like he's a worker being trained, and he like see how everybody treats him, how everybody works. Like, you never know who you're in the presence of. So that's how I practice, but unfortunately that's not what everybody else does. And I really don't have too many anxieties. I really don't be giving a fuck. Okay. Honestly.
What about you?
From both standpoints, it's like certain places, it's like you just feel like you don't fit in. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like it's up to us, like you were saying with Maple and Ash, it's up to us to not even to say make them feel comfortable, but to make it a regular thing so they can see, like, okay, this is something regular that people are doing, not necessarily even black people, but whatever race it is, that they're just coming here to have a good time, and they don't have to particularly stereotype us, you know what I mean? Because it is a stereotype that's given out, but it's something that we hold ourselves to a certain stereotype sometimes, and we kind of got to like just elevate above that.
Yeah,
you are worthy, so you go in there like, I deserve to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I get anxiety because, like, it makes me feel like, damn, like, why do you, it makes me analyze shit. Like, and I already have anxiety, so that, to be fair, but like, I'm like, do I look like a thief? Is this what a thief would wear? Like, no. Am I in this, like, am I that rough looking today? Like, I know I'm just going to Walgreens, but like, damn, you know, I don't want to do my hair, my makeup just to go to Walgreens. So, I just feel like that's what goes in my mind. Like, why is this lady following me? And that is like, sometimes I do want to have like a moment where I'm like, you know what the fuck? Like, do you want me to leave or do you want me to buy something? Because I can leave, but it's like, I don't want to feed into the energy either.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Like, I'm pretty sure like tons of people, and I'm trying to interact with a lot of people, but I can't do both at the same time. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of stories about black people going into establishments with no intention to steal or, commit any crimes, and they're treated that way. So I don't know. I want to talk about also black people versus lawmakers and police, because it's so crazy. Okay. I just first want to say, a lot of laws weren't made for us, but a lot of laws were, and they were made to belittle us or dehumanize us, basically. So our relationship with lawmakers and the police has already been tainted because for years and years and years, laws were made against us. They weren't for us. They weren't to help us. So I just want to talk to you guys about what you feel about the lawmakers and the police, because it's a statement that's out there that, you know, all Black people hate police, and that's not true. I don't hate the police. I don't even, like, the police don't faze me unless they're behind me, and then I'm fazed.
Okay,
but other than that, like, I don't really care about the police. Like, even when they're behind me, I drive legit. I'm legit, but it's just still nerve-wracking sometimes, because it doesn't matter if you're legit. You can be a Black person killed by the police with no gun, no intention to harm them. If they fear you, there will be an excuse that is, you know, brought up in court that gives them no consequence. So really, that's another anxiety. But how do you guys feel about police and lawmakers in general?
I feel like we need to know the law. Black people, like they say, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. So like knowing your laws, where you are, like traveling from state to state, like just know your laws. Like look, if you know you be doing some little shady stuff, or like find out what you can get away with, what you cannot get away with. Not saying do any crimes, but like know the law.
Educated.
That's super important to know the law. Like know what your rights are when you're pulled over, know all of those things, so that, I mean, I can't say that that's going to protect you 100% because it is not, but knowing is half the battle, I feel.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know, like me personally, like I definitely, just to piggyback off what she said, like I feel like we should know the law. I've been in a lot of situations where it's like as a Black man, it's like I already have that anxiety, so it's like I try to avoid police at regardless of whatever the case is. Like it'd be the worst case scenario, like I'm like, don't call the police.
Yeah,
you know
right.
I mean?
I'm dying,
like,
and
I don't know if y'all just seen it, was on social media. It was a Caucasian boy and a Black kid. They got into it, you know. And
I saw it, and the Black boy was pinned down.
They pinned the Black boy down and let the white kid sit on the couch, and it's like they both were, the white kid actually started the fight from the video, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's still going on today, you know what I mean? So it's like,
that's how we're perceived to police.
That's how we're perceived.
It was automatic that the little Black boy who was 14, by the way, was the aggressor, and he was the one that needed to be put in handcuffs.
It's like just for like the picture and the video of it, just showing like the white kid, he just knew that his privilege was being used. He was able to sit down
and stand over. He stood over the little boy with the police over him as well. But yeah, I saw that, and that's the American truth. The American truth is that Black people are not perceived by, especially police, we're talking about lawmakers, we're not perceived in the same way. And it doesn't mean that all of them see us negatively or like criminals or murderers or whatever, but we don't have that same image light over us, that same protection. So to go into that, do you feel protected as a Black woman and as a Black man in America?
No.
It's been a lot of occasions, like when I first moved to Phoenix, it was a situation where I got pulled over for speeding, and I ended up beating the ticket, 'cause they ended up pulling me out of my car and some more stuff. They took my car. It was a whole bunch of stuff.
For speeding?
For speeding, yeah. They said it was criminal speeding, and it was an actual Phoenix police officer. You know, here the state troopers have to pull you over. You know, and it was like, for one, they weren't supposed to pull me over. 2, they weren't supposed to pull me out of my car, and 3, it's like, in the state of Arizona, you have to be behind some. If you don't have a speed radar, you have to be behind someone for a quarter mile, and they have to match your speed for them to say that you're speeding.
Know those rights.
You feel me? And I didn't know that I knew that, so I went to court and fought about myself, and they ended up throwing the case out. But it's just like you said, knowing the law and knowing what you're getting yourself into, because it's like, if they can take advantage, they will.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't feel as protected either. I've been in several situations where I felt like, you know, I'm not going to call the police, or I don't want to be put in a situation where this is going to be flipped on me. Like, even younger, being at the pool, like, I remember a white woman slammed my fingers in the gate. Now, if I slammed her fingers in the gate, I probably would have went to jail that night, you know, all type of things. And I was only 16 years old. But I was like, you know what? If we call the police, they're going to find some way that she was justified. And, you know, just, I can tell you dozens of stories like that, but I don't feel as protected. I don't think that it really is every police officer, like I said, but I think it's their training. I think they're trained to perceive certain people as, criminals. Mm-hmm. And so if they see you and you fit a profile, like literally police training has a lot to do with like a pathologist will come up with like what a criminal, how they would act, how they will look, their mannerisms. So if you are not a criminal and you somehow have those mannerisms that fall into whatever that category is, mm-hmm. you're perceived as that criminal. And I think that's a fucked up way to train somebody, because a white person can have mannerisms like that, who grew up around a certain race of people, and they're still not gonna, it's still gonna be biased against them. They're still not gonna treat them in that same way. But I don't know. I don't have any negative feelings with lawmakers, but what I want to say is like Black people need to strive to be lawmakers.
Yes.
And police officers. Because the ones we have now, most of them are tainted. I'm not even going to lie, because that's a bigger problem. Like, they have to be like their counterparts. They don't have the luxury to be different, set the tone, because they will be shadow banned. You know what I mean? They will be treated differently if they are doing their job the way that they're supposed to, which is to not be biased. And I know a lot of them get killed. So I'm not saying that, people should be murdered in their job positions, because whether you're police or not, you shouldn't have to deal with that. But not all Black people are criminals. I wanted to talk also about how you celebrate yourself. I know this is Black History Month, but like 1 month, no. Like, how do you celebrate yourself 12 months out of the year? How do you remain resilient? Our ancestors put us in a place where we can be resilient and have that title. So how do you remain celebrating yourself as a Black person and being resilient in the struggle to just be a human and be respected?
I just try to show up as Black as I possibly can every single day, everywhere I go.
People.
Like, look at me, Bantu knots, the Coogee sweater, like the bamboo earrings. Like, I try to show up as Black. Everybody knows I'm Black. I don't code switch. Mm-hmm. I don't get those anxieties that you have when I go into a store, because I feel like I belong here. Yeah. I'm spending my money here. You can look at me any kind of way you want to look at me. I'm still me. I'm still going to go on about my day. You're not going to bother me. Like, I know who I am. Mm-hmm. So that's just how I celebrate myself.
Yeah. What about you?
And like me, like she said, like I try to go into any situation as comfortable as possible. Mm-hmm. Like anywhere I go, I try to be me, and I put myself in uncomfortable situations with other races and stuff. Because it's like right now we kind of have to, I feel like, set the tone. Like, some people have like a stereotype, or they have a certain thought about us because they've never really encountered certain Black people. So it's like when you have those certain uncomfortable conversations and, set the tone, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like I try to live a luxurious lifestyle. Like, I try to go ball out any chance I can. I travel.
Yeah,
I go, do my thing.
I think it's important. I think it's important to do both. It's important to show up and be Black and stand in your truth, but also to be in those situations, because like you said, we have to familiarize them. And I know it's not our job to educate white people or any other race on Black people. It's not our job to be their educators, but if we can be in their environment and let them know we are here to stay, and then they can see us in another light, I think a lot of things may sway. Every white person is not going to do better, but I can say, like, when I go to work, I work in like a healthcare environment, mental health, but there's a lot of corporate behind it, and I show up and show out, and like it offends me sometimes that they're so surprised I can do my job so well, but I just, other than that, go in my room, shut my door in my office, and do my job, and make sure I do my job as best as possible. But yeah, I'm in their environment. I'm in that meeting. I have my nails. I'm gonna wear my nails. I'm gonna wear my hair extensions. You're gonna see me be Black in my way, but I'm unapologetically Black. So yes, I do still have anxiety, because like I said, I just struggle with it. But I show up unapologetic and try to show out. Let's just say that.
Yes, do that.
What is your guys' favorite piece of Black history? Or I don't want to say favorite, because there's so many you could have. But what piece of Black history really resonates with you guys? Like, what do you feel really makes you proud to be a Black person? I know there's so many, like I said, but what makes you proud?
I think just with all like the adversities and everything that's been going on, like how we still overcome, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we have some of the best inventions that were ever made, you know what I mean? Some of the best athletes, some of the best poets, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like, I don't know, it feels like even when like right now, okay, we're kind of on an even playing field. Not so much even, but even playing field. But back in the day, they weren't on an even playing field. And it's like they still they overcame everything and they still, you know what I mean?
Fought the struggle.
Mm-hmm. They fought the struggle, you know what I mean? Still being unapologetically black, you know what I mean? So it's like, for like, you know how we always say, man, back in the day, if a slave owner would have did this to me, we would have whooped them, woo, 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 right?
It's easy for us to say that. We have the space to say it now.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like for them, they didn't have that space to say it, you know what I mean, or a space to do certain stuff. So it's like by them being able to still overcome, like that's cold to me, like that's raw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It definitely, it makes me proud. That makes me proud to be a black person.
No, for sure.
That we have had a lot of battles. And we've won a lot of battles. We have not won the war, I don't think, but we have fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. And I think that's why a lot of, like, I saw that the suicide rate for black males is up. And it really hurt me because I'm like, damn, like, I believe in God. I don't know if other people do, but I do. And it's like at my weariest times, you know, I feel like God has tested me the most. And then right after me just staying true and standing in who I am and what situation I was in and just not wavering and not giving up and not, you know, committing suicide or anything like that could have happened. I saw that rainbow. You know, I got the rainbow from the blessing from God. But I feel like all the progress we've made, it just breaks my heart that the suicide rate is up, because it's like this is still a weary time for black people. We still haven't won the war, like I said. And I feel like don't give up, because we're going to be there. And it brings me to my next question. That's just my opinion. I just feel like that's where we are, and it breaks my heart. And I do feel like we as a culture need to push for more therapy. And I think that's why the oral therapy. Right. I love the concept of therapy as far as like just speaking about what's going on in your mind as free as possible, as unbiased as possible to a stranger. That was the best thing I've ever done. And you can have a black, white therapist, whoever, if you want an Asian therapist, whoever you want. But I think it's important to speak about what you're going through in your mind, because if you don't, stress is a killer. And either it will cause you to kill yourself by literally killing yourself, committing suicide, or like drinking yourself to death, smoking yourself to death, not eating, you know, just stress is a killer. So it's important to get that out. But do you think we can see change? Do you think we will see change? Do you think we will see equality? Do you think I'm right? The rainbow's coming eventually? Or you think I'm just optimistic?
No, I feel like the rainbow is coming eventually. Like I said, we're seeing more representation. A lot of us are now starting to create generational wealth, which is something which was probably the only thing that the opposite race had up on us, is that they came from generational wealth that was actually built on the backs of us and other races that they enslaved. But I definitely do see, because now, you know, we're becoming educated. We're getting degrees. Not some people not getting degrees. They're entrepreneurs and they're making millions, billions of dollars. Like they're doing it. Like once we start building that generational wealth, I feel like in my lifetime, I will see that we will be, if not equal, but a step above.
Yeah,
I feel like the playing field is just like you said. I feel like the playing field is starting like to even out more so now. You know what I mean? And it's like it comes with the educational part of it. Like if you know, like, okay, if you can see what the problem is and you can find a solution to it, and like you said, you can stop certain generational curses, like. It's just a lot of education that's not given to us, you know what I mean? Like how to do taxes, how to play with credit, you know what I mean? That we just didn't know. You know, and I feel like I said, our generation is the even playing field.
Yeah.
Like you said, creating that generational wealth is just being educated. I feel like soon it's not gonna be necessarily quote unquote a race thing. I feel like it's gonna be a social, like, what am I trying to say? Like, rich, wealthy, poor. I think it's going to be more so of that type of playing field. Yeah. Because it's like, now some of us are starting to get the knowledge. And some people have the knowledge and they don't want to do anything with it. Yeah. You feel me? So the people who want to do something with it, they'll be able to elevate and get themselves in that particular bracket.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely come down to the class you're in, because now, like you said earlier, we're starting to get recognized that, you know, being open to Black people, like you're opening yourself up to so much creativity,
right,
and so much that you know, other people who are still racist and closed-minded are not going to be able to reach those certain masses. So these business corporations and all see the value of that. So it's going to be about who the class you're in and what you have to offer and bring to the table. So I think, yeah, we should be teaching like our children about credit. Like, how many people teach their kids about credit? How many teach them about, like you said, filing taxes, making a doctor's appointment, how to look at the labor market before just going to school for something. Like, what is the labor market? How many jobs are out there? You know, we hear about students going to school and just graduating and not being able to go to get jobs. And it's like, did you look at your labor market? Did you look at how much this position was making, or that degree can get you, and what's available out there? Like, that all needs to be taught to people. In my job, my daytime job, I'm a rehab specialist. And that's our main goal, is to help people connect to jobs and look at all of those things. So I think it's important. But just know, like, in your state, a lot of people are connected to DES. DES offers free vocational rehabilitation services to those who are members. And a lot of Black people don't take advantage. I sit with more other races, let's just say that, than Black people. And this is free. This is a free service that offers a budget to help you go to school, to help you do things with your life, but they don't advertise it, you know? You'll go to the DS office and see a lot of other things, but you don't see that advertised. So just know it's out there. I wanted to touch on some like highlights. I talked about in another show about the Black community and like fighting and killing ourselves and the stats that are behind it. But I just don't know. There's a lot of anger in the Black community, and I feel like that has to heal first. That's why therapy is important. And just like, I don't know, like, what are you guys' opinion on that whole topic? I just don't even know how to even question it. But
right. I feel like, because it's mostly Black males,
like Black on Black crime. Yeah.
Yes. So and it's generally, in my perception of it, is all like a pride and ego thing with them. Like, you can do the smallest thing and then they have to go shoot up the whole neighborhood. It's pride and ego. And I feel like therapy can check the pride and ego, and you can remove your ego and pride out of certain situations to where it doesn't escalate. Like, you can respond and not react. I feel like therapy is going to be the root of like Black men not killing each other so greatly, because it's just the pride and ego. I don't ever see a real valid reason. I mean, there's never a reason to kill someone or do anything violent, but for me, I feel like everything is so minuscule in the grand scheme of things, of why you're killing your brother, essentially.
And it's like, just kind of piggyback off of that, it's like, in a sense, how can we get mad at, like, if the police were to kill a young Black man? Let's say that's one situation, but down the street, one dude just killed 5 Black men, and it's like,
and they keeping tabs on how many they killed. What's going on?
Body tabs, and it's like if we gonna bash the police officers for doing this, we gotta bash each other for doing this as well. And it's like, like with that also, it has to be some type of mediation, because like you said, it'd be over a lot of minuscule and small stuff. It's like, what block you from? Like, you don't own what Jay-Z said, like, you don't own this block. You know what I mean? Y'all renting over here. Like, y'all don't own this. Like, for real. So it's like putting that to the awareness, and like, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but like, just putting that focus towards other things. Like, y'all want this to be y'all block, well, buy this block up. You know what I mean? Like, you want it'd be over small stuff like drugs and stuff. Like, say somebody's they're drug dealers, you know what I mean? And someone else is your competition. It's like, it's other ways of going about this. This is how businessmen don't kill each other. Walmart is not killing the CEO of Target. You know what I mean? They're just doing other things to
what sets you apart.
Yeah, to grow. And oftentimes they collaborate. These businesses, they realize, hey, I want to make money, you do too, and you ain't backing down, I'm not. So let's see how we can make money together. So you just never know, but you're right. I think that education comes back into play. We talked about that earlier. We need to like these parents need to be parenting, educating. Our community leaders need to be really being invested and involved.
Right.
You can talk about it, but are you really doing it? These rappers and celebrities, they can be famous and we can go pay for their shows, but like, are you really doing for the communities? Are you, like, they post about the police killings, but they don't hold us accountable, because it's really accountability. Like, hold us to that same standard when a black man is shooting up, a club or a block and an 8-year-old gets killed. That just happened in Arizona. An 8-year-old little girl was murdered because of whatever argument that happened.
Was road rage.
Yeah, but even still, like, talk about those things, highlight those things as well. Like, we want the police to do better, and they need to. And I don't, like I said, that's a strong hindrance for our community, and it's a strong part of what we need to change. But also the strongest thing is us becoming unified again.
Right.
I think Harriet Tubman having to fight different gang members to go under the Underground Railroad and like pass along messages. How would they get free? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so many different, like we all looked out for each other during that time. We had so much unification. And one thing that, like, one way our counterparts, I'm going to use that word, have kind of won is that they've had us divided. Not only that, like talking about how mass incarceration is dividing homes. These, parents don't have therapy. They go through all this struggle. They carry on generations because the anger is from generational. It's from way back. The anxiety is from way back. Like, being around their presence, like, it's an energy that's transferred through our ancestors. I strongly believe that. But, like, in general, we need to unify. We need to come together. We need to hold each other accountable. We need to definitely play our parts in making sure our community is strong, because you're not going to hear other communities talking about each other, bashing each other, or killing each other at the rate that Black people are. So that's
like self-realization, and like you said, self-accountability.
Yeah, we need to do it.
You can look in the mirror and you can see and know what the problem is. You know what I mean? You can hold yourself to a standard and be accountable to that standard.
Yeah,
it definitely goes a long way.
Yeah. To see the wealth, also, like, buying Black, shopping Black, definitely involving yourself with some type of Black brand. Like, I see people go hard for these brands, and I, like, literally, I was going to spend my whole bonus, and Law knows this story, but I was going to spend my whole bonus on a purse and Louis Vuitton, and I couldn't even get in the store. And granted, I had on like a sweatsuit. It was a sweatsuit with heels, and I was just like normal, like ponytail, like shopping day. But like, how I was dressed shouldn't have affected the money that I had to spend. I literally picked out a purse, was like, oh, I'm gonna go buy this purse today. I'm spending, $1,500 on a purse, yes, but I just deserve it. Like, it was my Christmas present / bonus. I got my end of the year bonus, so I was just literally going in there to buy a purse, and I couldn't even get inside. They made every excuse in the world why they couldn't let me inside. But I went on Brandon Black, his website, purchased a purse, went to Steve Madden, purchased a purse, no problem. Ended up getting 2 purses for the same price, actually less than I was going to spend at Louis Vuitton. But at the end of the day, they didn't deserve my business. If they didn't want me in there, I wasn't going to press the issue. So, like, buying Black, because guess what? I had no problem. I was not discriminated against. Granted, it was online, but still. It made me feel better, because I felt so bad. Like, damn, I couldn't even get in the store, and I had the money. Like, and it made me feel like wanting to be validated by them. And I was like, why do I need their validation? They don't want me in there. I'm not going to go in there. But it did hurt at first, but I definitely had to, like,
rechannel that energy.
Yeah, like, I'm like, you know what? They don't deserve me. So buying Black, celebrating Black, celebrating yourself, self-care is the best. Like, be your Black self and glow. And I think that we can see a lot of change come. I want to leave this part for an open discussion. I wrote some points we can talk about, but, like, is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about with, being Black in America and celebrating? Just, it's open space.
Like you said earlier, I think the unification is going to be a big part of it, and us celebrating each other. Because one thing, like, I was just having a conversation with, like, a good friend of mine, and I was like, it's like I don't know, me personally, like I've always felt like I could be a good leader, but I've never wanted to be a good leader. Not saying a good leader, but I've never wanted to be like a leader of nothing, because it feels like all black leaders in America back in the day, they were killed, and in times they're incarcerated. And it's like when certain like black people try to go to the next step, it's like it's always something like Bill Cosby tried to buy, what was it CBS or
NBC?
NBC. And that allegation came out. You know what I mean? Snoop Dogg just bought back Death Row. He just had an allegation come out against him. So it's like it's always something that they're gonna try to
do to stop the growth.
Stop the growth. But it's like I feel like the unification, if we're behind each other and we're supporting each other within certain stuff, and we have the knowledge to do so, I feel like we'll go a lot further as a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we also have to just be that higher excellence too. Sure. Your lifestyle has to resemble what you want in a way. Like that definitely plays a part. Like just living in it, being in it, and separating.
Like
you don't
fake it till you make it type of thing.
Yeah, well, you don't see Jay-Z in certain environments. You don't see Beyonce in certain, like, definitely make sure that your gender is clear and stay on that path. Like they pretty much stay on the path. They kind of pop out every now and again, but they're like, you can tell they haven't reached the goals that they want.
They're intentional with their presence.
So they're like doing them. They're not going to step outside of that. So I think the focus needs to be on the priorities need to be straight too. Sure. But we're going to say anything?
No, you can say what you have.
Well, I was going to close it out. I liked how we went with things. I definitely want people to know, like, it's not easy being Black in America. It's not easy, but we do it every day. And to give us our credit where we deserve it, where it's due, and to see us the way we are. We're excellent, just like you could be excellent, just like you can be a CEO. I could be a president, an astronaut, whatever I want to be, and more. We can create new positions, new ways of living, but just to see us for us. And if you're going to talk about Black history, you're going to date a Black man, you're going to date a Black woman, just know the struggles that we face are different. The mentality that we have is different. The anxiety from generations, the anger, the stress is different. And it's just going to be a challenge, but it's something that you need to do. And just educate yourself, educate others, try to make sure that people are held accountable. If you see an injustice, speak up for it. Speak up to the person who's in the act of it, and maybe we can see something grow and something change. But until then, like, Black people remain unified, remain excellent. But that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Oral Therapy Podcast. This was really great. And I thank you guys. You guys definitely helped me to incorporate what I wanted to.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was fun. Yep. Period.
Bye.